Hi, everybody. So this is a little description of your Tech Talk assignments and what we're going to be doing for the Tech Talks for this semester. So for this assignment, basically you need to think about integrating a very specific piece of technology or a media tool into your own professional context. So you're going to choose one context in your group, and you want to solve a problem, or you want to do something specific with that media tool. So it might be that you really want to teach a particular concept and you know that your students often struggle with visualizing it. So you're going to choose a tool that will help them to see that, or help them to create their own visualizations of whatever your content is, specific content is that you're going to be teaching them. So it might be something like that. It might be, for those who are not in the teaching field, something within your own field. So I've had students who create tech talks around hospitals, if they're nursing, their context is nursing. Or I've had people create tech talks that are about integrating a particular piece of media into employee orientations, for instance, if they're doing some kind of professional field like that. So I have all kinds of different ways of doing this assignment. The point, though, is to be very, very detailed in your professional context and to narrow it down, and then to describe it fully with plenty of details, and then also to integrate that technology in very, very well into whatever it is that you're trying to do in that context. So it really is about being very thorough in no matter what you choose to do. And so that's the way to think about it. So you're going to be really being very thoughtful about how you're integrating a piece of technology or a media tool into a very particular context, and why you're doing that. So that's your rationale. So it's a very much thinking through, why would I do this in this particular context, and how will I do it, and then will it work or won't it work, or what will work with it and what won't work with it, depending on whatever it is. And so that's really to think about overall what this assignment is. So we're going to have 3 different Tech Talk assignments over the semester. The first one will be video or presentation, the next will be social media, and the third will be your own choice. You'll need to clear all of them with me before you get started working on them. All of them are collaborative in that you're going to work in groups, but even in those groups, you're going to choose one context and one tool. So you need to think through what that will be for your group. So you'll work on that. All of it needs to flow together. So you're probably going to divvy up the work somehow, but it can't be confusing in that the integration of the tool doesn't even match the professional context, and the rationale doesn't seem to work together. It all is one tech talk. So you're going to need to work together to make it coherent, and to elaborate on it, no matter whose context it is. You're all going to have the same vision, essentially, and you're going to be very detailed and thorough within that. So that's important to keep in mind, that all of the videos and all the written work and basically the ideas within those all need to come together into a coherent whole. For your tech talk, and that's true for each of the tech talks that you're doing. So for each of these, you're going to provide your details about your professional context. You're going to be detailed and thorough about that. You're going to have your media or tech tool. You're going to describe that. It's not a tutorial. It's not how to use your media. It's what is it, and what's relevant to know, what's pertinent to know, given your integration. You're going to create a rationale for why you are going to include this tool in that particular context. So it's very specific to your context. And you're going to use research here, the course readings and scholarly research to prove your rationale. This rationale will be written up. That's your paper. You're also going to have a very detailed integration plan about all the things that you're going to do to integrate that media. And so I recommend that you narrow it down to a very specific integration. It's not listing all of the different ways that you could possibly integrate it. It is, I'm going to integrate it for this particular lesson, for this particular way. It isn't, oh, I could use it for group work, or I could use it for this. It isn't a listing of all. It's one specific, very detailed integration of that media or that technology tool. So we need to think about it that way. And I might even add another line here to help you to know that it is a plan for one integration of this media or technology tool. It's not all a listing of all the different ways you could integrate this media. It's a very thoughtful plan for one integration of that media, to give us a very good sample of how it could be integrated, a very thorough look at that. And then you're going to evaluate it. What would or would not work with this tool integration, and given your particular context, what will work and what won't, and why. So you're going to do these these different videos. You're going to divide them up in your group. Do not write out the text for these videos and read it in the video. You need to know the points that you're making. You need to be familiar enough with what you are talking about to be able to do it without reading it verbatim. So do not simply read your papers. Do not write little papers and read them for your videos. You need to know it well enough to explain it to us in the video, and that's what you're going to want to do in your video. So it isn't a recitation of little mini papers. So just keep that in mind. It's really just talking to us about what you need to know about the media tool, what we need to know about the integration plan, what we need to know about the evaluation. So think about it that way. It's really more talking to us from a very knowledgeable place. And then to supplement those videos, you're going to also have a paper. And this is a paper where you are fully describing the rationale and including research in it. So keep in mind, the videos are short. They're only 5 minutes each, max. There's an actual limit on Flipgrid. So they're relatively short. You're going to have to pack a lot into that time. But your paper will expand then on your rationale. Why using this particular media for this particular context? And you're going to have a thesis statement that goes beyond a summary of your 2 different reasons. It really is overall, this is why this media or technology tool would be useful for my context. And then you're going to have at least 2 good reasons for integrating the media. Each reason will have a topic sentence that summarizes what its point is. Here's one reason why this would work for this context. Here's another reason. You're going to have quotations and information from the course readings and scholarly research. And you're going to support those quotations with explanations. Here's why those quotations actually prove the point I'm claiming in the topic sentence. So you're going to be very, very detailed in your reasons and support them well, both with quotations and information, but also your explanations of those. And so you're going to have at least those 2 reasons. You'll end with overall, this is why this works, why this integration would be a good idea, essentially, your conclusion paragraph. You're going to include here also any integration plan information that you would need as an appendix. So if you have a timeline, for instance, and you want to include that and you want to have a written version of that, feel free to include it here. You're going to share that paper. Anyone with link can edit and make sure that it's accessible. So you're going to share it in your Tech Talk, in your Flipgrid videos, but also you're going to share it online as well. So this is just a really very detailed rationale for why you're integrating it, and then it goes along with your videos too. So overall, this Tech Talk is a really neat assignment, and we learn so much from these different Tech Talks. So think about it as a learning experience for you, but also a learning experience for everyone else. And the more detailed and thorough you are, the better for you, and that you've thought through those, but also the better for us as well as a community of practice. So these are really interesting Tech Talk assignments, and I think that we'll all learn a lot from them.